Our third lesson in this chapter is multi-step equations, so you're going to have to decide what your first step is going to be here. Okay, so the first thing I see is I have an x there and an x there. Well, they're both on the same side of the equal sign. So what I want to do is combine my like terms. I want to put these together. So I have negative 3 plus 1. So I have negative 2x equals 10. So now I have to decide what is my next step. Well, I'm trying to get x all by itself. That's the goal. So to do that, I need to get rid of negative 2. Well, to get rid of negative 2, they're multiplied together, so I need to divide it to make it go away. So then my answer to this is x equals negative 5. Same thing on number 2, except the variables are on opposite sides. I have an n here and an n here, so I need to put them together. Okay, so I'm going to bring my 8 down, and when I put those together, I get 4n. Well, the 4n is attached to it by multiplication, so I need to divide it to make it go away. So 8 divided by 4 is going to give us 2 equals n, and I can just rewrite that to say that n equals 2. Okay, so those are the first type where you have to combine like terms first before you do anything else. Next one. Go ahead and draw my line down the middle. So I'm going to combine any like terms that I can. Well, on this side, I have numbers. So I have b, and then this is negative 2 and 1, which is just going to give me negative 1. On this side, there's nothing to combine, so I can go ahead and leave it. All right, so now my goal is to get all of my letters to one side and all of my numbers to one side. And it doesn't matter which way you choose to do this. So let's say that you wanted to move this b over here with this. Well, to do that, we would subtract it. Subtracting would get rid of it here. So now I have negative 1 equals 9 plus 2b. Okay, so the next thing you need to do is you want to take the 9 and move it over here. Well, to do that, you have a positive 9. You need to subtract it. So that's going to give me a negative 10 equals 2b. So now you have all your variables on one side and all your numbers on the other side. So I'm just solving for b. So to solve this for b, I need to get rid of 2 by dividing. So I get negative 5 equals b. Okay, so we're going to do the same sort of thing on the next one. So let's divide this line down the middle. So this one we don't have any terms to combine to begin with because it just has numbers and letters. So let's go ahead and start. Let's take this n and move it over here. So if we want to take it and move it, we have to subtract it. And that's going to make it go away on the right-hand side. So now what I have is 3n minus 15 equals 3. Well, now I need to take this 15 and move it to the other side. So I took all my letters to the left and all my numbers to the right. So to move this, I'm going to add 15. Okay, so that's going to make them go away here. And that's going to give me 3n equals 18. My last step then is to get n by itself. Well, to get n by itself, I have to move the 3. 3 times n, the opposite is to divide. And I get that n equals 6 for my answer. Okay, so just take it slow, one thing at a time. Move all your numbers to one side, all your letters to the other. Now we have some distributive property that we have to work with first. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and draw my line. So I have this negative 6 that I have to distribute. So I have negative 6 minus 42b plus 30 equals 360. So before I can go any further, I have to look and see, do I have any like terms I can combine? Well, these are both digit numbers, so I can combine those. So those together, I'm not going to add or subtract them. I'm going to do exactly what the sign says. So I don't need to move them to the other side. I'm just combining them on this one side to give me 24. Okay, and then I leave the rest of the problem as is. Struggling with that 42. All right, so then my next step is to get all the stuff that's not with the b to the other side. So I'm going to take this 24 and move it over here. So subtract 24. So then I get negative 42b, and then 360 minus 24 is going to give me 336. My last step to getting the b by itself is to divide by negative 42. Divide by negative 42. And that is going to give me negative 8 as my answer. Okay, on number 6, we're going to do the exact same thing. Draw our line. So I'm going to start by distributing, and I get 25 minus 30p and negative 125. Okay, so you didn't have to distribute from that. If you liked the way that we did it yesterday, you could have divided everything by 5 to begin with. But if not, go ahead and go this way. So I'm going to move the 25 to the other side by subtraction. So this is going to give me an even more negative answer. So I have negative 125 and negative 25. That's going to give me negative 150 equals negative 30p. Okay, so now I have to get p by itself by dividing it by negative 30. So when I do that, it's the same thing as taking 15 divided by 3, and I get that 5 equals p, and I can rewrite it to say that p equals 5. All right, let's look at our last two. These are also distributive property ones. So we're going to start with our line down the middle. Distribute, distribute. So I get 4b plus 12 equals negative 2 plus 2b. All right, so this is one of the instances where we need to get all our numbers to one side and all our variables to the other. So let's take this variable over here with this one. So if we're going to move that, we need to subtract by 2b. Okay, so then what I get is 2b plus 12 equals negative 2. So since we just took the letters to the left, now we have to take the numbers to the right. So it's a positive 12, so we're going to subtract it to make it go away over here. So then I get that 2b equals negative 14, divide by 2, and I get negative 7. Same starting thing on number 8, except this time we're distributing a negative 3. We have to take the sign with it. So I have negative 3 plus 4r equals 7 minus 3r plus 18. So now I have to look. Okay, these are numbers and they're on the same side. So I want to combine these numbers and make my life just a little bit easier. So the negative 3 plus 4r is going to stay the same. But now I'm taking 7 and 18 and adding them together to get 25 minus 3r. All right, so let's take all our numbers to one side. So let's take our letters over here. So we're going to add 3r. And that's going to make them go away over here. So now I have negative 3 plus 7r equals 25. Now I'm going to take my numbers and move it to the right. So I'm going to add 3 to make it go away from this side. So I have 7r equals 28. My last step to getting r by itself is to divide by 7. Dividing by 7, I get that r equals 4.